Hi, welcome to Wisecat. Okay, so as you may have noticed the other day, I actually did a super upgrade speed run, upgrading from 3.0 all the way up to 3.11 in 8 minutes flat. Yes, world record holder all over there. So afterwards, a lot of people actually were asking me, how do you actually do those Git upgrades? When I do Git status, it says fatal error, not a Git repository. And so that's what we're going to do in this one. We're going to actually take a Moodle instance that is not created using Git, and we're going to turn it into a Git coded Moodle. So the first thing to do is to check out, there are a few things that we do have to do. First thing we have to do is actually get the Git code by doing a Git clone of the Moodle repository. And then the second thing we have to do is move over any plugins that we have. So in here, if I go in here, well, first of all, this site is a 3.6 Moodle 3.6 version running the theme Essential, and I've put in Essential simply because shout out to Gareth Barnard. I think he made an awesome theme in Essential and it was great. I used it for several years, and so I very much appreciate his work there. But the other reason is that it's good to have a plugin that you need to actually move across, and I figured why not, I'll do one that I liked. And so Theme Essential is there. And you might say, okay, well, there are plenty of other plugins. Why Essential? Well, the last working last working version of Essential theme was in 3.6. It was discontinued thereafter. And so if you try to install it today, well, that would be a bad idea. And such a bad idea that Gareth Barnard, he actually put on the plugin page, Moodle has released end of life at Moodle 3.6. So if you have plugins that have reached the end of life and you're upgrading, please do not stop upgrading for it. Either develop the plugins further yourself, hire yourself a programmer, or write the plugin yourself if you're that way inclined. If so, what are you doing watching this video? Or what you can do is just uninstall those plugins. I'm going to do neither, and I'm going to challenge accepted. You will break your site. Okay, bring it on. So we're going to throw caution to the wind with our Moodle site here. But anyway, a little bit more on that later. We'll see what happens if you actually mess up. Because I think that's one of the big things that I'd like to actually communicate in this video is that if you do mess up, don't panic, we can recover. So let's do it. So I'll bring over my command line here, and here's the directory where I have my Moodle stuff. And you can see that I have, here's the zip package I downloaded from moodle.org to install this particular Moodle, and I put in the same course and everything. Here's our www folder, www.root, if I cd www, and if I ls in there, you can see that this is the standard Moodle code. Now in here, the only thing that is not so standard is for an install that I run anyway, because I use Git for all of them, is if I go Git status, this will fail. And it fails because this is not a Git repository. And so what we want to do, and it will actually, Git will also search the parent directories. So you will probably get this message if you've never used Git before. Or you might actually get another message that says Git is not installed, in which case sudo apt install Git should definitely get you there. And that's going to ask me for a password. Cool. Okay, and it's usually simply a matter of installing it. Oh, Apache 2 data is installed. Okay, I'm using Nginx, so that's why these are no longer required, but okay. Whatever. Anyway, let's clear that screen up a bit and let's have a look in the directory below. So I'm actually going to be trying to work with two different copies of Moodle. The first copy is going to be the copy that is the original, So if I look here, this www folder, this is my original copy. So I'm going to rename that into www old. So to rename, we go mv www space www underscore old. And that's going to make it very obvious that this is the old code. But if I do that right now, I'll break my site. Because the web server, the Nginx web server, knows to is pointing when people go to this URL, which is 3.wastecat.net, right there. When that URL is accessed, go to the www folder. So as I'm going to be doing this, but I'm not quite ready to switch, I'm going to also hit the double and here. This allows me to add a second command that is run pretty much at the the same instant. And I'm going to follow that up with a command called ln-s, which creates a symbolic link. And that is going to link to www old is going to be what happens when people look for www. So the destination and the source. And so if we now ll, we can see that this is in blue, and this is our www, but this is no longer a file actually, this is just a link. It's a symbolic link, which is pointing to our www old folder, so which I'll just from now on call the old code. So our www is still pointing to our old code, and that means that I can add new folders and things like that and just have the link change. Generally speaking, symlinks tend to work out of the box by default on most web servers. However, if you have disabled them, I would wonder why. They're incredibly useful, so yeah, worthwhile keeping. Anyway, so next one that I'm going to do is actually go to the Git for Administrators page here. This actually has some pretty cool, very simple explanation on how to get the latest Moodle code. And obtaining the code from Git is very good advice. We're in the web root already, or we're close enough to it anyway. So we're going to just go to clone the repository here. So git clone git.moodle.org. And we're just going to play that in here. But we're also going to add another argument to this one here. And we'll call this www from underscore git. So we're going to call this directory www from git. And so the reason to do that is just this will actually, instead of if you just have this command just as is, just that bit that I've highlighted, it will clone into a folder called Moodle. I tend to prefer my www root to be called www because I think it's more descriptive. And if you have two folders in the same directory called Moodle, then when you, for example, when you're using tab to autocomplete and you're trying to do cd space m and then tab, it'll go as far as the Moodle, but if you're trying to get into Moodle data, then it won't get you all the way there, which is a little bit annoying. Well, I find it annoying anyway. So I prefer to have it called www. I also think it's easy to keep track of. But anyway, I shall pause until the cloning is complete. Okay, welcome back to the future. The the cloning is now complete, and now there are still a few things that we have to move over before we're ready to redirect our link to the new data. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is go into our www from git, and we're going to look in here and follow the next instruction on our obtaining the code, our Git for Administrators page. So if I just put that up there, that'll probably be better. That way I can actually see them both. Okay, so the next one that we're trying to do is we've just changed cd'd into the actual directory. See, it expects the default Moodle come out, so it's asking for that. But actually, we've named our folder www from git. And we can run this command. This command's not essential to run. All it does is it lists all of the commands, all of the branches that are available. So for example, the Moodle repository actually contains all of the Moodle code from version 1.3 all the way through to version 3.11. So every single version from 1.3 onwards is available. You could theoretically check out the code for Moodle 13 stable. We don't want to do that. At the moment, this Moodle that we're actually working with, this WiseCat Moodle, is 3.6. So all we want to do is replicate the code of 3.6 to 3.6. So we're first of all going to be putting Moodle 3.6 in here. So in order to do that, we're going to want to track these branches and say, okay, when I ask for Moodle 3.6, give me the code from the remote origin of 3.6. And that's what the next command over yonder does. If I take this git branch track, then this is actually saying make a branch called Moodle 3.11 stable and track that to the origin Moodle, the original Moodle 3.11 stable from the Git repository. So, however, we're not after 3.11, we're after 3.7 for Moodle 3.7. So 3.7, there it is. So if we just track that, and now git branch-a, now you see that the little thing has changed here. We've got this Moodle 3.7 stable as a local branch. And that means that it's ready to have the code checked out. Now, at the moment, we're on the master branch, which is why this master has a little star beside it when you do git branch-a. So let's switch to the git 3.7 code. Oh, sorry. Whoops, I didn't mean 3.7. I meant 3.6. That's okay. You can check out as much code as you want, as many different versions as you want. So I've just made a boo-boo and said check track 37, and now I've got 2 different branches that are tracking. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Because we get to choose which branch we're on. We're currently on master, and what we want to do is use this command git checkout. What this does is switches the branch. Now this is actually pretty useful because when we're checking out the code, if we go to 3.6, what that does is that switches the code in our Moodle folder to the 3.6 branch, which means that Moodle's 3.6 code is there. If we want to switch to the 3.7 code now, it's just check out Moodle 3.7 stable. I hit enter on that, boom, now that code is Moodle 3.7, right? And if I do git status again, git status, it'll tell me that my branch is up to date. Oh, sorry, it wasn't git status that I did before, it was branch-a. But you can see that the green text has changed, and now Moodle 3.7 is selected. There's the asterisk beside Moodle 3.7 stable, and master is no longer green. You can see that. That means that we are currently on tracking Moodle 3.7 stable, and we're on that branch there. Okay, so we don't want to be on Moodle 7 stable, we want to be on Moodle 3.6 stable, so because we're 3.6 first, and then later on we can upgrade to 3.7. So here we go, we've gone back to Moodle 3.6 stable. And so now we have in this directory the Moodle code for Moodle 3.6. That's what this is. And that's the magic that Git does. But there's still some things missing. Okay, remember in our old folder we have a config.php file that tells Moodle how to connect to the database, etc. So we're going to need to copy that across. And there's that essential theme that we added, which is a theme, so it's going to be in the themes directory. So let's go get them. So we're going into cd space ... to go down one level, and in this level we have our www old and our www from Git. We have both of those, and copy them the additional themes across and additional plugins is actually quite simple. All we have to do is know where they are. So to find out, typically what you'll do is you'll go to the plugins overview page, and look at the link here that says additional plugins. Now, I've only got the one because I installed it for the purpose of this video. Chances are you will have several more. And that's okay, as long as they're compatible with the next version of Moodle you're trying to install. So Essential is not, but anyway, I'm going to copy it across anyway. So the way to copy that across is, because this one is a theme, it's going to be in the theme folder, and it's going to be theme essential is what it's called. So let's copy it. So cp copy, which means copy, right? www underscore old slash theme slash essential, and we're going to copy that over to www underscore from git slash theme, and that's where we want to put it. We want to put the essential folder in our other thing. Actually, this time we're going to need -R for recursive, because the essential folder is a folder with a whole bunch of files underneath it, and so we want everything copied across, and boom, the essential theme is now copied across. Now the next thing that we also have to do was the config.php, right? And the config.php tells how the database connects it and all of those sorts of things. And so also you can see here, config dist is here, but no config.php. It doesn't exist in the new version, so we have to copy it across. So we're going to cp copy from www.old/config config.php, and we're going to copy that to the new directory, and well, we'll just straight up into the new directory. That's fine. And this time we don't need -R because it's a single file. Right, and that's done. And so now, if everything is all well done, we can actually go into this www from git. So I will go into there, and if we do git status, we can see that actually in here there is one additional plugin which is showing up here as an untracked file. Untracked files, because the untracked files, the additional plugins you install, are not tracked as part of Git. So Git basically sees them as, hey, there's something different there. That is not to be worried about. Basically, this can be thought of as a list of all the additional plugins and additional files you've put in your Moodle directory. You might notice that config.php doesn't show up here because, well, yeah, there's really no need for it. It's not very useful. Having untracked files for plugins is definitely useful, but config.php just should be there. We can check though, if we ls, we can check and make sure, yes, config.php is there. A little security note is that config.php should not be writable by the web directory. And as you can see, my config.php has no write access for the group. www is the group. It can read, but it cannot write. I can write because I own it. And yeah, there are many schools of thought on how these permissions should be managed. Yeah, to each their own, I think, though. Okay, so we have www from git there. And now if we go down, we are ready to switch over the code. And so one of the things that we can do is we're going to remove that existing link, www. Remember, this is just removing the link. It's not removing anything necessary. It's just removing the link. It's not making any file changes, just removing the link. So we're going to bust up that link. And we're going to make a new link, symbolic link, which will be pointing to the www from git, and that will be, if anyone calls for it from www, point to www from git from now on. So if we have a look here, we can see that our site is still perfectly working, and if all goes well, that should still be working. So now we've switched it. So we can see that before was the old site, now is the Git site. Let's see how we went. Let's see. and everything's just working. When you do this on a production site, what you might find is that your www old was actually not Moodle 3.6.10, but actually was Moodle 3.6.8 or some previous version, an earlier version. If that happens, then you'll find that your www from Git will be slightly newer, and you will be asked on the notification screen, for example, to process the update. But usually this is an incredibly small one, doesn't really make much of a difference. It's okay, it's fine to just go with that. Just go whatever floats your boat. But now we have and we can even just cd www, because on the command line, of course, we can follow the symlink as well. There's our Moodle code. And this time when we go git status, we can actually see there it is. We're on branch 3.6 stable, and we've got our theme essentials there. Okay, so let's upgrade. Now that we've got our Git, on, let's upgrade. So to upgrade, we already have -a. We already have our 33.7 stable branches actually set up, because I messed up earlier. So if we were, though, to do this from 0, basically what we would do is we would change the track from 3.6 to 3.7. Right, so doing this from 0, I'm just going to comment that out so that it doesn't actually do anything. But normally what would happen is you would do that, and it would say git branch set up to track, and then all we have to do, check out. And if we check out the Moodle 37 stable code, that's it. That's all we have to do to get ourselves onto the 3.7 code. And that's the beauty of Git, is that Git makes that incredibly painless. No more downloading of zip files, no more unzipping them and copying them across and making sure that the previous versions were all removed, and no doing a balancing act with your plugins. You just hit git checkout 3.7 stable, and there you go, you're on it. Now let's run the upgrade script. And remember that, so we're going to switch to user, www.data. But remember that also admin/CLI/upgrade. When we actually did this upgrade, we ignored the fact, we ignored the warning from Gareth Barnard that says, hey, you'll break your site. That's what we're trying to do right now. And typically the CLI is a safer way to do it, because you hit enter on that and watch what happens. Whoops. I really should get a shorter password. Okay, so here we go. Dependencies check failed for theme essential. You must solve all the plugin requirements before proceeding to install this Moodle version. So it's not actually letting us go through. It's saying, hang on a minute, you got a problem here. You might want to go back. So what we can do then is we can say, oh, okay, oh, glad you told me, mate. Let's go back. Okay, oh, we're back to 3.6. Okay, no harm, no foul, hopefully. And we go back to Wisecat, and boom, we can still use it. No problem. We have not broken anything. We're still on Theme Essential. No worries. We can go to the notifications page. Everything is all running smoothly. Well, that was uninteresting. Let's try to actually do that again. So let's switch back to 37 stable. But this time, let's try to run the upgrade through the web interface. And I'm not sure if this actually would work on a newer version, but if you go to the notifications page again, once you've, yeah, I am on 3.7, and boom, it will just ask me, upgrading Moodle database. And this is how we break our site. So here we go. Once this happens, your process can take a long time. Do you wish to continue? Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, so no more of that pesky command line that was telling us dependencies. Bah! Let's go. Caution to the wind. Let's upgrade this Moodle. Come on. Give it to me. Yeah. Yeah, power. Oh, unavailable, missing dependencies. Oh, no, that's so sad. I could upload a zip file, but no, I don't feel like it. I'm not cooperative today. Let's go. Okay, it's saying, yeah, to be deleted. Bootstrap base actually was deleted in 3.7. That's one of the things that was a dependency of Essential, and that's one of the reasons why Essential is broken in 3.7. So actually what you could do, theoretically, is you could grab a new version of Bootstrap base and upload that as a zip file, or you could probably even actually fudge it by installing Bootstrap base as the 3.6 Bootstrap base theme. You could probably take that and zip it and put it in there. I don't know. But anyway, either way, we're here to break stuff, so let's go. Let's just click on upgrade Moodle database now. Ha! And it's still saying, it's still being noisy, and it's saying fails unavailable. Yeah, I don't care. Continue. And it won't let me continue. Look at that. We have broken our site. I mean, it basically is saying you shall not pass. Okay, let's go away from that. Okay, I don't like you anymore. Let's go here. Now it's asking, do you want to continue? Yeah, continue. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, I totally want to continue. Come on. It's not even letting me continue, so it won't even let me destroy the site. Well, that's uneventful. Oh, come on. I want to break a Moodle. Come on. Okay. So it does not look like I can actually break this Moodle properly. Okay. I should have chosen a different plugin maybe. But anyway, okay, I can't do that. It's not letting me. So if you run into this problem and you go, okay, fine, but I do want to get rid of Theme Essential, well, what you can do is you could just make it disappear off the disk. So cd theme, and you can pretty much say, okay, Essential exists there. Let's just delete it. Let's delete it. So especially if you have another plugin that's misbehaving and has actually let you upgrade the database, you might find that you are greeted with the white screen of death, where it's just PHP errors have happened. What you can do those times is you can actually go to cd/var/log, and in here often you're going to find something, a log file that'll probably let you know what's happening. In this case, we're on 7.3, I think, so pretty sure we're on 7.3. Anyway, you might look in the PHP log, or you might look in the nginx log. So actually, in this particular instance, sudo, I'm just going to become root, and cd nginx, and here we go. We've got an error log there, and if we just grab the tail of the error log, it'll probably tell me, there are problems in theme initial. So here we have the errors appearing and the PHP message. Remember, the logs are actually nice. They look scary and everything, but this is what's going to actually tell you what's wrong. So definitely look. And it does often have a nice friendly message. This page should be using Theme Essential, which cannot be initialized, nor can the site Theme Essential, falling back to Boost. Right, so it's saying it's going to fall back to Boost if Essential is gone. That sounds like a pretty decent deal. How about we do that? Let's delete. Let's go to the themes folder and let's delete Essential. Just get rid of it. It's gone. So srv3 www, and we want theme, And in here we have our essential folder. Let's just rm-rf essential. We're getting rid of the essentials. And now if we go back to our plugin dependencies check, etc., and we hit the continue button, it might actually let us do something. Well, it's actually saying upgrading to the new blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's actually upgrading, and ooh, we're doing it via the web interface. Yay. I tend not to like to do that because it could time out, but let's see how we go. Okay, looks like we've gone fine. Yep, log store standard. Hit continue. It's going to give me a bunch of settings for the next version. Well, it's going to ask me to log in again first. Okay. But there we go. Asynchronous backups, etc. All those settings come up on the web interface version. These are all the ones that are being set automatically if you use the command line interface. They're just set to defaults. I only want them set to defaults anyway, so I'm just going to click on Save Changes. Done. And now we're on 3.7.9. But hold a minute. We're actually on Boost. We're on the Boost theme right now. But if we go to Site Administration and Plugins land, let's check out our Plugins overview, and we can actually see not all is well. Because, boom, we have Essential is still here, but it's missing from disk, and it's Essential, and that's an error message, and it doesn't really matter. But it's annoying. But it doesn't really matter. But it's annoying. I want to get rid of it. Ah. Okay, fine. Let's get rid of it. So let's go to our theme settings, etc. Here, this takes us to our theme selector, and we'll notice that we don't actually currently have any theme selected. And this is because as that message, that error message just before told us, it should be using Essential, but we didn't have it, so it is falling back to Boost. Right? It's not using Boost because it sort of just said, well, I'm just going to use Boost. It's because it couldn't do what it thinks it's supposed to do. It thinks it's supposed to use Essential. So it won't let you delete Essential yet because as far as it knows, it's still supposed to use it. And because it's falling back to Boost, you can't actually click on Use Theme here for Boost. So you have to actually go to Classic ones first. This is the additional, this is the bonus info, okay? We're no longer talking about GITifying so much as we're just talking about themes and stuff like that. So now we've selected Classic, we can actually go back and you see that the blocks are there, but I actually prefer Boost. So let's go to Use Theme Boost, boom. Boost is in, our default is now Boost, that's good. Change theme, do not want to change it, that's it, we're good. Let's go back to Site Administration, Plugins Overview. And now if we scroll down to the bottom, we have Missing from Disk, but this time we have that uninstall link. Okay, let's tidy it up and have ourselves a nice, clean Moodle 3.7 instance. And here we go, we're clicking on Continue. All data associated with the plugin theme essential has been deleted from the database. A nice, friendly message. To prevent the plugin from reinstalling itself, folder must be manually removed from your server now. No, it doesn't. We deleted it before. So, remember? Already done, buddy. So, yes, sometimes listen to your server, but sometimes the server doesn't quite figure things out. If the code were still there, it would try and reinstall itself, so that would be kind of bad. So anyway, upgrade Moodle database, boom. We can do that, and that'll clean everything up and make it nice and neat and tidy. And now we've got no problems in here. Everything is set up properly as it should be, and no error messages, and we're all good to go. So, thank you very much for watching. That is pretty much it. Basically, to sum up, in order to convert your Moodle from the old version to Git, my recommendation is create your Git, do the Git clone, following the instructions in the Moodle website, then copy across using the plugins overview directory, copy across anything that you have to copy from the old directory to the new. Make sure that you're on the same, at that time, actually, before you do, make sure that you're on the same branch. So if you're Moodle 3.6, make sure you're checked out Moodle 3.6 before you do the copies and things like that. And then copy it over. All right? Then using these symlinks to actually point it to which folder it is one way of actually being able to maintain two separate sets of code, having them named sensibly so that you can understand what they are. And at a glance, you can see www means www from Git. This is the code that we're currently borrowing. This is the code that exists, but it's old. This is very easy to read. So I recommend doing that. So you git clone, switch the branch, copy over any plugins, copy over your config.php, and then go to your notifications page to make sure everything's hunky-dory, and then go ahead and do your Git updates. Now, the last thing I will mention here is that let's say we have Moodle 3.6.11 or 3.7.10 or something, the next version comes up, and it's time to upgrade. cd www, we just go to our web folder here, and git pull. And that pulls any updates that are available. In this one, it's already up to date on 3.7. And sometimes people might see that and go, well, how can that be? I updated on 3.6, but I never updated 3.7. That's because Git, when you do a Git pull, it updates every single branch that you're tracking. So it updates the Moodle 3.6, it updates the Moodle 3.7. If you track the next branch, 3.8, it'll update that. So everything is up to date, and it's just when there are more updates, when you get those emails from Moodle.org saying, hey, there's an update available or something from your server, you can just come on in, git pull, and that's it, you're done. Okay, so that's it. This became somewhat longer than I was expecting, but anyway, that's how to GITify your server. Okay, enjoy, and I'll talk to you again next time.